we're all kind of speechless just watching it. What was it like for you to actually see this in person?
Yeah, Sean, Erica, I have to say, complete shock, just as you all said. We're down here in what's known as the mix zone. The media was all watching the performance on some screens here, and, everyone was gasping every time we saw a fall, saw a jump that, wasn't being completed like we know he can. Right now, Ilia is making his way through, speaking with different members of the media, and we're waiting for him to get to where we are so we can chat with him. But obviously, him just not even making the podium, falling to 8th place, was, I know, devastating for him and shocking for so many people who are here watching him and cheering him on at home. He had that first pass. Typically, that's where we would see one of his signature quad jumps. That did not happen. You thought, okay, maybe he just missed that one and he'll shake it off and continue to move forward, but that did not happen. Ilia's on his way right now. Ilia, Washington, D.C., I know, not the outcome that you wanted, but how are you feeling after that skate?
I don't know, honestly. It's a lot to handle, and, the pressure of the Olympics is... It's really something different, and I think that not a lot of people will understand that. They'll only understand that from, the inside. And, going into this competition, especially today, I felt really confident, really good. The earlier practice today went really well. I felt like I was ready, and all I needed to do was come out here and just trust everything that happened. But it really just went by so fast. I did not have time to process what, really went down.
How were you feeling mentally out there? We were watching you. It kind of seemed like you really trying to push through.
Yeah, mentally it was a weird feeling just going into the program. I just had so many thoughts and memories flood right before I got into my starting pose, and I think it maybe overwhelmed me a little bit. I've been through a lot in my life, a lot of, bad and good experiences, so just, I feel like just the pressure of especially being that, Olympic gold medal hopeful was just something I can't control now.
Yeah, last question for you, Ilia. Back home in Reston, they had a big skate watch party for you. They're proud of the gold medal. You did help Team USA win here today. And how do you feel about that? You're not going back home to Virginia empty-handed.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a positive for me, and it honestly maybe gives me just the thoughts that I need to just understand of why that happened in the individual event. I think that going into this competition, I made sure that I was able to, prepare myself for at least 4 programs or 4 performances. So honestly, I haven't had time to understand what fully went on, so I'm still kind of trying to understand what went wrong.
All right, Fairfax is Ilia Malinin. We thank you for stopping and talking to us. So Sean, Erica, you heard it there. He's walking by the rest of the media, so we're grateful he stopped and talked to us. Honestly, I don't know what to say. I think we were all expecting to be cheering him on, waiting for him to step to the middle of the podium, hear the national anthem. And that's not what happened here today. Obviously, he was the gold medal favorite. It's tough, 21 years old. He's been very open about the stress that he feels, the pressure he feels to perform, and not even making the podium. I know that he's, you all heard it here, not the skate he was expecting, but he can hold his head high knowing that he is bringing home 1 gold medal. He skated beautifully this weekend for Team USA. Just unfortunately, in the individual program, he fell short. Send it back to you.
Jimmy, I think, what's also incredible, so even if he did not win and was not on that podium, he still came in 8th. So even to be 8th out of the best in the world is still pretty incredible. And we heard him right when he was sitting down waiting for his scores to come in. He said something about not being a part of the Beijing team, and had he gone to Beijing, then he would have been better prepared for today's skate. So it'll be interesting to hear a little bit more about that in the days ahead.
Yeah, you're right. Back 4 years ago, he placed 2nd at the national U.S. championships, and many people thought he would make that Beijing team. He was 17 then. He was not ultimately selected for the team. Obviously, he's used that maybe for some motivation, got better and better and better. And, even though he is not the Olympic gold medalist, he is still the world champion, is still the U.S. champion. So this is obviously not the end for Ilia Malinin, just 21 years old, but not the skate that he was expecting here tonight, especially after being in first place after the short program on Tuesday night.
Well, and it's another example of how these professional athletes can push themselves physically to such great lengths. And in the end, for all of us, right, our mental game is something that sometimes can stand in the way. We look at Simone Biles when she had a case of the yips and what that did, and how she came back then that much stronger. So that's a wonderful example there that we can look forward to, and I'm sure Ilia will show up and show out another time.
Yeah.
Thank you,
yeah,
Jummy.
and Simone was here, you know. So maybe he'll use that as motivation, as you mentioned, Erica.
I hope so. I sometimes I feel a conversation between the two of them coming very, very soon. Jummy, you're doing a great job. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We love that Ilia, of course, recognized you and stopped to make sure that he said hello. Thank you, Jimmy. We'll see you again very, very soon.